And this is a complete guide to Etherology for version 121. Without further ado, let's get started. This mod is magical, but it also has its own energy ether. At the moment it is under development. But there is already quite a lot of content that can be brought to some server, and it will be very interesting to play with it. This mod is designed to replace the outdated ThaumCraft, which is not updated in any way, and there were some recent updates. Well, not those at all. This mod can be called ThaumCrafting, but with the spirit of a new cool vanilla Minecraft. Let's start with generation. First of all, most likely you will notice new or slash materials. In general, you can get this kind of slitherite in the mines, and also from rickets. Slitherite is a replacement for a cobblestone, but also some block is made of it in the future. And from rickets, breaking it with a pickaxe, it will not fall out in almost any way. Why practically? Because the block itself will not fall out. You just break it and nothing will fall out. Instead, with a fairly small chance somewhere once every 30 blocks, you will get this enriched rickets. And this is the basic material that you will need in this mod. Also, mainly next to the birch biome, you can find a new biome on such a one. This is the golden forest. Here you can see that the grass is absolutely more beautiful and greener. Everything is so bright, cool. There's also new grass here. The voice is light. Now it is not used anywhere, but in the future I think it will be. There is also a new tree. It's a peach tree. There is such a beautiful log, such forest lanterns will grow on it. At night, this forest looks really very beautiful. Look how everything glows. This grass is glowing, these forest lanterns are glowing. Let's take a closer look at this peach tree. First of all, you can certainly knock out a seedling and grow it. Also, as I said, such forest lanterns grow on it. You can melt them and get a mushroom crumb. You can eat it. And also what this tree is for. There are, you see, such incomprehensible kotskis on it, some streaks. What is it in general? You take an axe, poke any axe here with a PCM, push it away, and get an ebon. And also, of course, you can usually push it away, but you won't get anything here. Only from this block, you will receive a special component. From it, in the future, you will be able to make as much as a whole ebony ingot. It also demonstrates how all the variations of this tree look like. That's how the signs are so beautiful, the door. By the way, the door is just incredibly cool. I really like her. Also in the taiga, that is, where all sorts of needles grow, you can find such a tuya. Breaking it, you will receive thuya seeds. By regrafting, you will get coniferous oil. And finally, there is such a best fruit. You can also find it around the world, and then you can make a cool potion out of it. Now let's move on to the basic materials in this mod. As I have already said, this enriched trachyte is the base material, but it is the base material for another base material, namely raw azay. It is made again in this way, as I showed you from to calcite and to enriched from rickets. By melting this raw azul, you will get an azul ingot. And this material is already iron in this fashion. But before you do anything, you will need a special table. This table is a great nature. It is made in the same way as a workbench, only add to more fragments of amethyst on top. Let's put it, let's say, somewhere here and see what's in it at all. Going into it, you see a completely different crafting window. There are also 9 slots here, but 4 of them are highlighted by some incomprehensible flashes, or what to call them in general. Here you will later put special essences. In order to get these essences, you will need to see them somehow. There is such a special oculus for this. You go into it, put 4 gold pieces like that, and here is a fragment of amethyst. We get oculus. We take it in our hands, and it's very similar to the thermometer from ThaumCraft, and we see there is nothing here without it. But here I have set up special runes that you can see around the world. There is a rune here. There are 4 types of runes in total. Keta is such an arrow. Then Rela. Is this such a lozenge of some kind, or what is it? Via, this arrow is only up. And finally Klaus. Another diamond. In order to interact with them, we will need such a sedimentary stone. It is made of 7 stones, our ingot about the potion, and also Rastonova dust. We take it as well. Let's take one of the runes, let's say this Rela. I'll put it somewhere separately. And here it is, by the way, when we point at it, it still stands out, so it's a little visible. Look, this divine seal has an essence in it. By the way, it is not limitless. We can completely combine it and it will disappear. In order to pump it out, we will need a sedimentary stone, so to speak, to collect the essence sediment. Let's put stones around our seal like this. You can also put it here, somewhere here, in general, nearby. And in order for these stones to suck this essence into themselves, we need to activate them with the help of a generic signal. Let's do it right here, like this, and finally, like this. That's it. They begin to suck the essence into themselves. This thing takes a little time, somewhere in 10 minutes. They will pump into themselves completely. We have 4 types of sedimentary stone according to its fullness. It turns out to be low-filled, medium-filled, high-filled, and fully filled. That's how they differ. Naturally, the color of this stone will depend on the color of the rune. There are again 4 types of stone in total, because there are 4 types of runes. Well, we took this essence. What should I do with it now? First of all, I'll tell you, if you have a pebble like this only in the corners, then don't do anything with it. Wait. If you have an average one, then you can already take your invisible axe and poke the PCM. Then you will take the essence of the primary fragment of chum, because it is the essence of chum. And look, you see, here the enrichment has fallen. If we poke at the low-enriched ones now, then we will simply lose everything. That is, there is not enough energy to give us the essence. Here we have a highly filled one, too. Here we have received 2 primary fragments with you, and here too, we can't get anything already. And here we can already get as many as 3. 1, 2, and 3. And that's what essences you can get accordingly. These are Klaus, Keta, Rela, and Vaya. That's not how they look. There are no more essences yet. These essences are not infinite in each rune. In order to understand how much essence is left, we have an invisible light sensor. It is made of 3 amethysts, 3 glasses, and also 3 semi-blocks. Let's take him. By the way, you see, they have already filled up to a low level. Look, we put it so close to our rune, well, that is, close, and take away the redstone signal here. To tell the truth, it would be better to remove this here, so that there is no superfluous signal here. Look, here we have the power of redstone. That is, she is the last one here, everything, there is nothing else here. And now you can see that it has just disappeared again, that is, a little essence has gone into these cubes here. And here the signal to the diet has become weaker. When it completely weakens, it means that everything is over here, and there is no point in pumping anything out of here anymore. I'll tell you from experience that 1 fully charged rune is enough for about 4 full sedimentary stones. Well, or 3.5 somewhere like that. Then, for the convenience of perceiving the whole world, you can make yourself such eyepieces. We lay out the craft as follows. I'm putting it out now from memory, because the crafting in this workbench is not shown in J, so we do it like this. Look, here we have an additional mod for these glasses. We put them here. And that's it. Now with the help of them, that's how they look, by the way. And that's it. Now with the help of them, we can see first. First of all, these are all runes. Secondly, we will be able to see the aspects in the cauldron later. By the way, about the aspects. With this Okolos, you can see aspects in blocks. So, you see, now we have 8 in the turf, probably it's land, 2 plants, and 2 foods. Also, you can use this Oculus to hover in the inventory. You just take the mouse like that and hover over any blocks. All aspects are shown to you. Well, so we made our basic devices. This is the Oculus along with glasses. We can perceive the world of Etherology. Now let's do something about it. And for this we will need a cooking crucible. It is made of 5 iron ingots, a piece of potion, and also a stick. Also, in order for it to work, we will need water, which is logical, and also some kind of heat source. In my case, it will be a bonfire. We put it like this, a crucible on it and into the water there. Our water will boil over time. It's going to take about a minute, probably. What should I do with it? You will be able to throw various aspects into this crucible. Well, let's say this is turf. In the turf, we have 8 of this, 2 of that, and 2 of that. We have already considered this with you, we throw it here. That's how he starts to swim with us, we poke the PCM to interfere and that's it. Look, here we have some aspects that can be lost during the stirring. That is, it's now 7, 2, 1. Let's stir it again, 4, 6, 2, 1. Nothing has disappeared now. In general, so gradually it will disappear. But by the way, with the volatilization of the aspect, there is an infection of the chunk. We'll talk about this a little later. In the meantime, let me tell you about this samovar. You craft it, put it near the crucible. Let's say here it also looks very cool, and by the way, in English it is called a samovar. Here. And what is it for? This is simply an endless source of water in 1-on-1 block. Therefore, it is very convenient not to make such a 2x2 water source here, but just put a samovar, and that's it. You have endless water. Let's craft our first craft on the boiler. The oil is oily, but it's true. We will make an ebony ingot with you. For this you will need an ebony, and also an iron block. Moreover, it is an iron block, because it has the necessary aspects. Look, here we have the following logic. We throw aspects here, and then we throw a catalyst that is enriched with these aspects, and the necessary craft is already obtained. In order to make an ebony ingot, we only need 1 iron block. Let's mix it up here. Look, here we have 7 iron, 7 fire. In my opinion, for 1 ebony ingot, we will need 3 irons and 2 fires, something like that. Let's throw it. Look, in my opinion, yes, it was 3 irons and 2 fires. We throw it again. That's how you can make yourself ingots. What are these ingots needed for? First of all, you can make armor and weapons with tools from them. They craft like ordinary armor and tools, but here we have, look, armor has a speed plus 7.5. That is, you can make yourself a set and move much faster. The sword, by the way, deals 7 damage, which makes this armor and weapon look like a diamond. But agree, she looks cooler, just like some kind of Roman warrior. Now let's talk about infection. Look, if you throw too many aspects here, let's say a lot of iron blocks. So let's dissolve this whole thing. You see, 89.85. We can take a bucket and take this water. It turns out that it is no longer a bucket of water, but a bucket of muddy water. If we spill it here now, there will be infection on this chunk. Yes, so let's pour this water somewhere here. That is, hop, pour it out here. It does not spread here in any way, but evaporates and infects this chang. Infection, as you can understand, is bad, so it's better not to do this around your house. Well, how can we measure the infection? We have such a warp counter. It is made of 4 ebonite ingots and also redstone dust. And it will click when we enter the infected area. By the way, we already have a small infection here. You can hear as if it were a Geiger counter. But if we now move to where we poured out the infection, here it is already cracking very much, and its arrow points to the maximum. We have sorted out the boiler, now let's make energy, ethereal energy. But first, we need to figure out how to manage it. There are such ethereal channels, and also ethereal forks. So to speak, the wrench in this fashion is the broadcast key. And for decorative purposes, there is a channel lining. Let's see what an on-air channel is. These are pipes, and look carefully. It has 2 sides. This is the entrance, this is the exit. That is, it comes in here, it goes out here. If we put it like this, here it comes in, here it goes in, here it goes out, then they will just pump it in here. Also pointing at them with glasses, we can see how much ether there is in them. There may be a maximum of 1, but now it's 0. In order to take them here together somewhere, there is a special fork like this. In other words, we are now putting it this way. Here we have an entrance, here is an entrance, here is an exit, here is an exit, and that's it. We combine them and can take them somewhere here. And with the help of sheaths, we can put it like this, and now we will have such beautiful cables. But unfortunately, there is no way to put it on the fork. I don't know, Buck, not Buck, how to produce ether. With the help of a spinning top, we put his top. So he starts spinning like that and collecting ether from this chunk. We can put several of them, but if we put them in a row, it's not so effective. It is necessary that there are at least 3 blocks of distance between them. Therefore, we can even make more and put, let's say, a spinning top here, and also, let's say, let's do it here. Op. Everything, there are 3 blocks here between them, everything is gorgeous. But here you can see a hole, and therefore the ether will not be stored in any way. Here you can see, it's coming back up into the air right now. In order for it to be stored somewhere, we will need a special storage machine. But before we look at it, you can see that our top has got up and cannot move. We need to lubricate it with coniferous oil. We just take coniferous oil and TCM PCM. That's it, it starts spinning further. There is an ethereal storage for storing ether. We take it. I will also take a light, which is, so to speak, a battery, portable in our inventory for ether. He can, by the way, store 128 ether. That's quite a lot. I'll also tell you right away about the power connector. Look, the ethereal storage, it has here, we get an entrance from 3 sides. Let's say we put it like this, and that's it. Now the ether will be stored in it. We get 1 unit of ether in the pipe, this is 1 ether like this. That is here, they have already developed a whole 1 ether. For 2 years now, and so on. They produce quite efficiently. Look, we have such a light. Like I said, it's a battery. We can put it here, and it will put these 2 ethers into itself. In other words, we can lay them out here like this, and we will have such an expanded storage. As it charges, the light will gain color, and as a result, when there is 128 ether in it. It will become like this. As I said, this is a battery, and it can be discharged. Let's say we put a power connector here. That is, we have an entrance here, an exit here, that is, everything will be fed back into the ether storage. I put a light here, this crystal, and that's it. We can see from above that the ether is leaking. It flows here. But first, let's consider another way of producing ether, an ether horn. Let's put it, let's say, somewhere here separately, and we put fire powder, and also ender pearls in it. Here we have fire powder. It is, so to speak, like coal, and ender pearl is what we have melted down into ether. And so, as a result, we get as many as 4 ethers from 1 ender pearl. Then the lens is not configured. To craft it, we will need to throw 3 torches, 1 bell, an ingot, and a potion into the cauldron, and slitherite as a catalyst. We throw 3 torches, a bell, and a potion. Mix it up, and quickly throw it until nothing has evaporated. Unfortunately, we didn't have time. Let's look again at 8 torches, 5 bells, and let's assume 3 odelias. Mix it up. So, we didn't want bells. Mix it up, throw it here. That's all, slitherite was thrown, and got an unadjusted lens. Why is it needed? In order to make some of the following appliances, and finally a cool magic wand. First of all, you will need to configure it. It is set up for us in the jeweler's desk. To the jeweler's table, you will need to record with the help of ether. Let's do it separately. Let's say I put it here. It is very important to observe that all sides are correct, and everything is here. Let me put the power connector and the light. Everyone, look, the ether is evaporating here. In order not to evaporate, we need to send a redstone signal to the pipe so that it does not miss. That's how we just do it, and that's it, nothing disappears from us, because while we are not crafting anything here. This, by the way, is how a jeweler's table looks in its interface. Here, we will need to put an unadjusted lens, and we will need to make the following picture. So far, we can only make a red customized lens. Look, here we can poke the paintwork, we have a big hole made. The PCM is made small. If we poke the paintwork here now, then we have a small one connected to a large one, and this is how we do it. What's the point? We need to draw certain pictures. Now we can only draw this picture, that is, we are doing it. Error. No, wrong. That's it, in short we do. Then we do it like this and like this. That's it, she will be able to tune in now. But what is needed for this? To do this, you need to submit the ether here. We see here such signals, all sorts of flashes, so it is enriched with them. And as a result, we get a redstone lens. Why do we need it? Let's say, in order to make a levitator. He still feeds on ether. Let's put a jeweler's table instead. Let's say, here, we'll power up the whole thing, and in order for it to activate, we will need to submit a redstone stone here. Look what's going on. We are starting to take off with the help of ether. We can also use it to make him a reverse move, that is, hop. And here, on the contrary, it attracts. This can be done so that we fly somewhere on the contrary and are attracted to it. Next, there is a staff in this mod. To create it, we will need binding elements, 2 pieces, 2 hewn oak logs, an iron ingot, 6 primary fragments. 6 primary fragments are obtained by Ketavaya and 4 cloths. We go to our workbench and lay out the next craft. That's the way it is. And we get a staff. So far, you can't do anything with it. In order for you to do something with it, you will need to find the runes first. You can find them in chests around the world. It turns out that we have various such tablets. Let's imagine that I want a noble for myself. In order to combine the staff with the tablet, we will need the inventor's table. Let's put it, let's say, here. Let's go into it. This is how its interface looks, like some kind of armor pumping. That's about it. We take a tablet with you, throw a staff here, and also gold bars. So we have a staff with a knob with its handle and also its lower, so to speak, lower knob. We can work with these tablets to make him various knobs. Let's imagine that we will do it like this. Let's make it turns out to be a handle now like this, and here we will make a lower knob for him. Great. That's it, we made a staff with you. That's how he looks beautiful. You can also combine this staff with a carpet of any color and make it a handle. Let's say right now it has turned orange, as you can see. But still, you can't do anything with this staff. What do we need? And we need our redstone lens. We take our staff, pinch the P, and choose the lens of the redstone. That's it. Now we can click on the PCM. And we're going to shoot like this. Shoot the redstone signal. Let's imagine that here we have such a lantern platform. We poke the PCM, and here we are lighting these flashlights with our shot. We can also make another mode. Here we have one right now, we can make one. Now here it will be necessary to clamp the PCM and squeeze. That's it, now we're shooting with a cube like this, which lights up for a little longer. Every application, any application in general, let's say like this, it spends our, so to speak, etheric energy that is in us. Let's call it spiritual. He spends our spiritual energy. And if we do too much like that, then we will have a spiritual illness. Here it is. And she will be treated over time. We are getting very few AEE. So there is still a lot here, but in general, as we spend, our AHP should decrease. Here we have some kind of nausea begins, in short, we feel bad. It is treated with time, that is, our spiritual energy is restored. Or we can make a special potion. A potion called a spiritual recovery potion is made from that flower. We drink it. And now we are having a spiritual recovery. This way, this effect will be removed much faster. Also in this fashion, there is such a draft barrel. Let's take it and we can pour as many as 16 potions of the same type into it. So I stuck it, that's it, now there are 16 potions stored here, and we can take them from here safely with the help of a bottle. There is also a tuning fork in this fashion. Let's put it on, let's say we poke it here. A tuning fork really makes a sound, but it's not just like that. You can put two tuning forks. It is important to tune them to the same frequency. It seems like now they sound the same now. It is important to put musical blocks under them. Here, let's dissolve the lantern. And we look at what happens if we activate it. So the cleanliness was not the same. Now it's the same. Activate, and that's transmitted, so here we have a signal in this and here a ration signal is issued. And you can see that the flashlight lights up. If there is any land standing here, then energy will be transferred anyway. But if there is some kind of sound-absorbing material like wool, here nothing happens. This can be very cool to use in some mechanisms. Also in this mod, there is a new tool/weapon, is an invisible Kayla or Kylo, and immediately consider the iron shield. Because it is mainly used with this tool here. Look, the shield looks like this, quite beautiful. And this tool can dig very cool, about the same as a pickaxe of various stones, but also has a damage of 7 units. Which makes it a very good replacement for a pickaxe along with a sword. That is, you can literally hop. So quickly kill everyone with the same thing, and then dig further. Also in this fashion, there is a tonal mace. Let's imagine that here we have such a crowd of zombies or cadavers. It looks, by the way, like this. It is a two-handed weapon, and has damage of as much as 9 units. The attack speed is quite small, but it's already a lot to remember. Everyone, beat the crowd. And now he's beating on the crowd. And a pretty good radius, so it seems to me that this weapon is well worthy, at least. Well, the last thing in this fashion is a pedestal. It looks like this and you can put anything on it. Let's say the pedestal itself, or the staff, and it will turn around so beautifully. Be sure to subscribe, like, write comments, and also do not forget to click on the bell.